Good morning, everyone. Just starting out here by lighting my charcoal disc. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Sorry I missed yesterday, but just had a coworker that had an appointment in the morning, and so I went in and covered her shift. She goes in from 8:30 to 9, so that's why I didn't have a video yesterday. So I'm just doing a little smudging, but I'm doing it a little different today. So I had my charcoal, and I have some loose sage here, and I want to put that on the disc for this morning. Also do the plant on the disc. I'm just trying to get it on the desk without burning myself. So good. So you can definitely see the smoke there. Sorry, the pop-ups about my wrist protection. So you can see that this makes quite a bit more smoke than when we just light the whole bundle. But I'm going to just leave that sitting there for today, so you might see the smoke coming through there during today's video. I'm going to just pop on and invite some people. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. I spent some time with my parents because they are on their way on their little mini, well, it's not really a mini vacation. They do it every year. They leave last week of February, first week of March, somewhere in there. And they take their camper, which is a toy hauler, and they have a motorcycle that they put in there. And they just leave. And they don't always really know where they're going. They kind of have a general idea of what states they want to hit or things like that. But they don't have any mapped out plans. They don't have any reservations at campgrounds. They just drive around until they find some place like, oh, I think we'll stay here for a couple of days. And then if the weather's bad, they might just pick up and move off to somewhere else. And really, in all honesty, it's something that I hope when I retire that I will be able to do the same. They have gone so many places. This is like their third or fourth year. And they've gone so many places and seen so many things. And I just can't wait to be able to do something similar to that. People are like, well, where do they get the money for it? It's like, well, they don't really, they're retired, so they have their, retirement money, Social Security, pensions, whatever it is that they get. But they close the house up, so they don't have lights, they don't have heat, they don't have, cable, everything. They shut everything off while they're gone. So, like the monthly bill things, there's electricity is still on, but obviously there's nobody using it. And their heat, they turn down just enough so that the house doesn't freeze. They don't eat out at restaurants. They take the camper and they pull into Walmart and go get groceries. And yes, that's a new sound. That's my husband's sound. It drives me crazy. It's his grandfather's, and we wanted to get it going, and so I listen to that all the time. And it ticks very, very loudly. You can probably actually even hear the ticking. And it kind of drives me nuts because, I don't know, I get that feeling like I'm just listening to time ticking away, kind of a thing. But I can't stand the sound of like water dripping or anything like that. It just drives me nuts. So this clock has been going about a week now, and it's driving me insane. but I'm trying to deal with it because my husband loves it. All right. Before we get started, I'm going to pull a new card. Just to shake up the incense here. Last week we pulled Tiger's Eye, so we are going to pull a new card. My stand got farther away, or my arms are shrinking. I don't know which. Alright, so we're going to put this back in the deck, and we're going to shuffle. And maybe we're not going to shuffle, because I think that is the card that wants us to see it today. Fell right out of the deck. So I guess that's the card we'll work with. Sometimes the cards do that. They just fall right out of the deck. And most people would just be like, oh, well, pick it up, put it back in, and shuffle. When a card falls out of the deck for me, that means to me that it is a card that wants your attention, wants you to notice it. So, today's card is Leopard Skin Jasper. And I always tell you guys that I don't pull these for any particular person. I usually just try to pick one, to pull one, just so it's a learning experience for you guys. And I'm sorry, that picture's not real good. You're getting quite a bit of glare on there. But I've been finding, as the sun and the time is changing, the sun is changing with the time. It's making a really big glare here. And I apologize. I've tried a couple of different lightings and stuff, and it's just not working. I might have to try a darker curtain, but I have a feeling in whatever it is, a few weeks when we change the clocks, that it might fix that problem. So just going to stick with it for a little bit and see what happens there. But anyway, back to the card. I tell you guys that I don't pick anything for any particular person. If I'm pulling for somebody, I say their name, either in my head or out loud, and I pull for that person. So when I do this, I don't think of anybody. I'm thinking of the group as a collective when I pull these cards. But it seems to me like somebody's got a message, because the last 2 or 3 cards I've pulled seem like they fit for me. But if they seem like they fit for you too, that's great. But anyway, we pulled Leopard Skin Jasper, which is a shamanic journey stone. And that's what I have been doing in my class. That's exactly what we've been doing in my class, is shamanic work. I'll show you my dirty cup because I haven't wanted to wash it. Last week we did a cacao ceremony. And no, we didn't do the druggy version of it, I guess. So cacao is not, on its own, is not going to send you to Never Never Land. You have to add cannabis, marijuana to it to do that. So we did not do that. We just did a pure cacao. But that's what we've been working on, is shamanic journeys and learning. But I'll read this to you real quick, and I apologize, I have my computer glasses on, so then I can't read. Leopard Skin Jasper helps you connect with animal, spirit, totem, practice shamanic journey work, adapt to new circumstances, and maintain energetic equilibrium. You have pulled this card because you are managing and navigating change in your life, meditating with Leopard Skin Jasper to receive ancient wisdom, heal physically, and develop spiritually. I have quite a few Jaspers, but I don't have a Leopard Skin Jasper. So maybe that's going to have to be on my list. All right. So I've pulled our card. We have smudged. Let's just light our candle real quick. It's nice to have the candle going. So there. I think we are all set to go. All right. So I'm going to be sending out the video, the next zodiac video from Athena. So during the correct period of the zodiac, I've been sharing that video with you guys. I do believe it's important to get your teachings from more than one source. Even though Athena and I are pretty much on the same page for a lot of things. Different people do have different perspectives, and something that I say might not feel right to you, and something she says may fit or may resonate with you better. So I really do think it's important to learn from a couple of different people. I've also shared up there some really short little videos from another group, the Sisters Enchanted. They're just like 4 or 5 minute video clips of astrology. So I thought you might want to watch those. Like I said, they're real short, so it won't take any time. You could sit there and watch. There's 6 or 7 of them. You could watch them in less than an hour, if you wanted to, or you could spread them out, however you want to do it. But I just really do think it's important that you know, it's my group and it's my videos and stuff, but I really do think it's important that you learn from more than one person, because like I said, the way I believe is not what everybody else is going to believe. And so I think it is important to just get different perspectives. And I may say something that doesn't resonate. This happens to me at work all the time. I'll have a customer on the phone and I'll say something to them and they're like, nope, they don't believe me. And my supervisor gets on the phone and she says the same exact thing, maybe in a little bit different, and they're like, oh, okay. So sometimes I feel like that, like something I say might not make so much sense, but if you, somebody else may have this, be saying the same thing, but in a different form, and it may just make more sense to you. So anyway, lots of reasons it's important to not just learn from one person. So today we're going to go over, I have a little teeny tiny quartz crystal chip here. I don't know where that came from. Trying to get it off the tin here. Don't want to lose it. I'll just stick it up there for now. Alright, sorry. Distracted. We're going to talk about embracing your emotions today. And I apologize, apparently I have a runny nose, and I put my tissues away the other day because I didn't think I needed them anymore. So five steps to embracing your emotions. Your emotions do somewhat coincide with the moon cycles. The moon is the closest planet. I don't know. I guess the most planet. That's all I know. I don't know how that scientific stuff goes, but it's the closest to us, and so it's circling us, and you guys all are aware that it affects the tides to the ocean, causing high tide, low tide, and all those things. And our bodies are a large percentage of water, so it only makes sense that the moon in some degree would affect us as well. And I'm really not liking the glare on this call today, and I apologize. Just looks like I have 2 big lights going out my ear. I guess it's going to be distraction day today for me. So it makes sense that the moon would have effect on our bodies and our emotions as well. But there's some things that you can do that'll help with that. And I always say that just being aware, just knowing this knowledge, even if you don't meditate with it, even if you don't, get crystals to work with things or anything else, sometimes just knowing the knowledge will be helpful to you in some way. For example, when I always had a hard time with my Sagittarius because some of my traits didn't fit in with that Sagittarius. That's supposed to just be free-loving and fun and goes with everything. And I'm like, nope, this is organized. This has to go this way. This is where I want this. Don't touch it. And that's when I realized that my moon sign was Capricorn, and things started to make sense. So just knowing things sometimes can help us. Um, so yeah, so the moon really does play a big part on your body, which affects your emotions. So some of the things that we can do to work with that, and one of the things I just want to say is one of the reasons I'm going over this today is because this time of year we have a lot of people who just are really suffering with depression and anxiety and things like that at this time of the year. Not being outside, not being in the sunlight, things of that sort. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to just talk about our emotions and embracing them. And so that's just so you have an idea that I didn't just pick this out of thin air. All right. So step one is just recognizing your feelings. Just taking a second to step back and letting yourself recognize what it is that you're feeling. Are you, okay, so like something's coming up in your, are you angry? Because that's typically what I go to. I go right from happy to angry. And there's like nothing in between. But then I have to stop and think, okay, why am I angry? And it's not just because such and such said something mean or did something mean or whatever. Kind of sit with it for a minute and actually go back. Did she humiliate me? Did she embarrass me? Did she say something that hurt my feelings? So just kind of go back and find out where that's from. Like saying, I'm sad. Okay, well, you're sad, but something's causing you to be sad. What's causing that sadness? Is it because you just left a relationship? Are you sad? Are you sad because you want a relationship and you're not in a relationship? So, just going, I'm angry or I'm sad is a start, but you kind of need to dig down a little bit and find out where those actual emotions are really stemmed from, where they're coming from. And then from there, you can figure out what your next move is or what you want to do, how you want to process the feelings. Just sitting there with your feelings and not processing them and not recognizing them is going to just manifest. So if you're sad because you want a relationship and you're not in a relationship and you don't process through that and then you just stay there sad, well, first of all, nobody wants to date somebody who's just sad all the time. So if you're looking for a relationship and you're sad all the time, that's one of the first mistakes. But by processing through that and allowing yourself to recognize the feelings, acknowledge that that's why you're sad, again, process through that, and then maybe, you can be in a better place for yourself, which is then going to put you in a better place for finding a relationship. So, but if you don't process it, you're just going to sit there and be sad all the time or angry all the time. And I'm telling you what, that was me probably back in 2010, 2011. I was just angry. I was angry all the time. But I didn't even really realize that that's how I was, To me, that was just normal. Not something I'm proud of. But at that time, I got fired from a job. And like a light bulb coming on, when I was away from that job and away from the stress and away from the people, I realized I do not want to spend my entire life being angry. The anger from work was coming home. I wasn't processing through anything being angry. I just stayed angry. It was just horrible. And it took me getting fired and getting away from that job. So being fired was really a blessing. But anyway, and back then I just decided I don't want to spend my life being angry. I don't want to come home and be grumpy and miserable, and life's too short. Um, so, I just tell people I choose happiness. And that doesn't mean I don't have emotions. I still get angry. I still get sad. Um, there's still emotions, but I try really hard to process through them and recognize them and, so that I can move on through them. Um, and deal with it and go back to being happy. Because really life is just too short to spend all your time being either angry or sad or, those are the two that come to mind. I'm sure there's a lot more emotions out there that people are feeling, but that's typically when people are either they're angry or they're sad. But those two feelings usually come from something else. Embarrassment, humiliation, heartache, the list goes on. So dig down and find what it is. It's called recognize the feeling. So just really sit with it for a little while and figure out what it is that's either making you sad or angry. Write them down. So that's another good thing to do. When you're processing all this, some people, I'm not a journaler. I don't journal things. So writing things down is not always good for me. I tried that a few years ago. I have insomnia. You guys have all heard me say I've had insomnia. And I had a doctor say, well, when something's on your mind, write it down. Well, then I was up 50 times that night writing it down. Got to get milk. Got to call Bob. Got to do this. The light was on. The light was off. The light was on. I'm like, nope, this is not helping. And so, anyway, I'm not a journaler. I'm not somebody to write things down. But if you are struggling with anger or you are struggling with depression, sadness, some of those things, maybe that's something you'd like to try. Just get a notebook. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Doesn't have to be a big important journal book that has glitter and rainbows on it and everything. You can just get a plain old notebook and just take some time every day and try to process through your feelings and write them down. And it doesn't have to be, dear diary, today I'm blah, blah, blah. You can just put little bullets even. Today I was angry because the cat knocked over her water bowl. I was sad because I thought someone was going to text me and they didn't. So you can, just journal them. That way, it doesn't have to be real time consuming. And then maybe after a while, you can go back and read them and see if there's a pattern there. And, not to be silly, but if you go back and find out that 20 times in the last 2 weeks, you were angry because the cat knocked over her water bowl, maybe you just need to get the cat a different water bowl. Sometimes our solutions are pretty simple, and we just don't realize that they're that simple sometimes. I know a lot of the things that are my buttons that make me angry, and so I try to avoid those things. But I do not like driving. That's not true. I love driving when there's nobody else on the road. I get very angry in the car. So typically if Eric and I go somewhere together, he drives because I don't want to spend that time with him being angry like that. He deals with it much better than I do. He drives. So that, it's simple. It's so simple, but it does make a difference. If I'm driving while we're going somewhere, it's not going to be the same experience as when he drives because he's very laid back. He's fine with it. I mean, yeah, he gets irritated once in a while with people, but I'm the one that I want to flip people off and honk my horn at them and tell them to get out of the way. And I hate having people on the road. my life will be so much more stress-free if they ever come up with teleportation. But anyway, write them down and process through them, and you might realize that some of the solutions can be pretty easy. Other ones are going to be a little bit more difficult. And I am not a therapist, but if you're struggling with something, I can help you with maybe finding some essential oils that will help, or some herbs that you can use on your incense burners that may help you relax, or whatever the situation is. I can help you find a crystal that may help with that as well. But if all of that's not working, I do suggest, talking to someone who is equipped to do that. And like I said, I'm not a therapist. I will pull a card for you. I will ask the pendulum questions for you. I will help you in all the ways that I can help you. But I am not a therapist. All right, next one. So the next one is a little weird. I don't think it fits in quite as well, but it's titled "Just Say No to Distractions." So basically what it's talking about is cold chill. I'm telling you, it's going to be like, I'm going to be the dog on Up, which is like squirrel today. Maybe I need to go get some grounding stones and put them in my pocket today. So yeah, what the Just Say No to Distractions is nowadays we are so easily distracted by our cell phones. That is like our number one distraction. How many times, like right now, I can see the little light blinking on it. It's like, ooh, who sent me something? And you're just so tempted to pick it up and look at it. And how many times in a day do you do that? Like hundreds of times. Flip the phone over. Don't see the little blinking light. Easy solution. But yeah, I call it being present. So I have a hard time with that because I have this group, I have my nonprofit page, I have my events page, I have an events group, I help a couple of local businesses with their Facebook pages. I have my Instagram. I don't really do anything with Twitter, but anyway, so that's a lot of things that I have. And plus, with all those things, I have emails that people are sending me, and things like that. So my phone is pretty important. I do a lot of business stuff on my phone. So even though I'm on Facebook, and I do scroll, I do look at my friends' stuff. That's very important to me. I love to see pictures of their kids or their grandkids or vacations they're taking and stuff. But it is a very big distraction. And a lot of times I will be on my phone and I hear from my husband that, and it's like, okay, put the phone down, Julie. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Give yourself 2 hours. Don't touch it. When he goes to bed, you can play on it all you want. Right now, don't touch your phone. So just things like that. But what this really is a little bit more than that. So this is saying, when was the last time that you just spent, it says a day. I think a day is horrible. I could not spend a day by myself with no TV, no phone, no Netflix, no nothing. Just spend the day by myself. I would go insane. Not just because of the electronics, just because I would be bored within like 10 minutes of that to do nothing. Even if I'm house cleaning, I have music going, there's always something. So my personality, again, that's really not my personality. But I don't really, at this point in my life, I don't really have anything that I'm trying to struggle through too much. Like I said, I do have some issues going on at work right now with some anger with my supervisor, and I do really work hard, believe it or not, and my coworkers might not believe it, but I do work really hard at processing that and trying to keep the communication between me and my supervisor civil, which is not easy for me because I have a tendency to not say anything or blow my top. Like I don't have anything in between, and I'm trying to work on that. Trying in a way to communicate with my supervisor to let her know that I'm not happy with what's going on, but without a way of blowing up at her and yelling. Because I do. I get angry and I yell. But anyway, off topic again. So it says just spend some time with yourself with no distractions. So turn the phone off, turn the TV off. You know, I like to have music, but you could, what I have to do when, like I have insomnia, what I have to do with my music is it can't have words. I can't listen to like the radio station or pop music or anything like that because I just sing along. So I have a whole playlist on my phone that is just either nature sounds with some music or some chimes or the flute, you know, like spa kind of music to meditate with and to go to sleep with, because I can't have any voice music because I just sing along with it. So if you were going to take this time, and again, I don't recommend a day. I just think a day is crazy. Start with a couple of hours or even an hour, or start with 10 minutes if you have to, whatever works for you. And just put the phone down, turn the TV off. You know, some people have said that that knitting is their, you know, their downtime. Knitting is not my thing. It makes me aggravated and frustrated, and then I get angry. I do like to craft. I have my perfumes, I have body scrubs, I have lotions, lip exfoliators, all those things I like to make. So that is relaxing to me when I have all my stuff out and it's all spread out and I'm making my stuff. That is something relaxing for me. So you could do something like that. Because like I said, I can't just sit. I could not just sit for the day and do nothing. I would go insane. But everybody's different, so find what works for you. You know, like I said, if it's knitting, I have a friend of mine who loves to do those very elaborate adult, time for work, those very elaborate adult coloring books. You know, they're usually really pretty, lots of flowers, things like that. She loves it. It helps her with her anxiety. For me, that would be insanely nerve-wracking because I would stress over what color do I use next. So different people have different ways of doing things. And like I said, she finds that very relaxing. It helps her anxiety to sit and focus and just do the coloring. So whether it's coloring, knitting, painting, crafting something, make jewelry, whatever it is for you that will help keep you kind of calm, but not just sitting completely still. If you can just block out everything, if you can turn the TV off, no music, and you can find a comfortable position and sit there and just be quiet with yourself, awesome. Do it. I can't do it yet. I'm not there. I'm working on it. It's a goal, but I'm not there yet. And there's the clock. All right, so I got to get through 4 and 5 here because I've been getting kind of off, well, not really off topic, but maybe it's a little bit more than I need to. But so number 4 is love yourself, and we've talked about that before. So if you cannot love yourself, you are not going to be in a good place for other people, other relationships. If you're not in a relationship and you're looking for a relationship, and I've said this before, if you go out to a party or a club or whatever and you're trying to meet a guy or a girl and you're sitting there talking about how fat you are and how you suck at your job and blah blah blah, that person's going to be like, bye, I'm not coping with this, I'm not dealing with this, I'm out of here, see you later, bye. That doesn't mean you have to go around bragging about yourself either. You don't have to boast about how wonderful you are. But if you are the person who you are not happy with your body, you are not happy with your job, you are not happy with your kids, you are not happy with the cat, whatever it is, and you go out and that's all that is coming out of you, people are not going to be attracted to you. So you need to be okay with yourself. If you're looking for a relationship, or even if you're in a relationship, you need to be happy with yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to be happy with someone else. If you don't know what you need, then how are they going to know what you need? You know, things like that. So I have a little challenge in this one. And that challenge is every day, whether you're looking in the mirror or if you pick a time during the day or whatever, just kind of say a little something nice about yourself. If you could, I've shown you guys my matcha beads before. I made this myself out of some seeds. There's 108 on here. And so if you had time every day, this would be awesome to do. You take the bead and you say your mantra. I've had a couple of memes up there lately about what are mantras. There are very formal mantras. There are blessings. But you could just say, I am pretty. I am pretty. I am pretty. I am pretty. And you go through the beads. Doesn't take long, 10 minutes or so. I am okay with my body. I am comfortable with my body. I am okay with my body. I am comfortable with my body. You could do something like that. Whatever it is, just take a few minutes every day to say something good about yourself. Now, I am not comfortable with my body. I know I'm overweight. I don't want to be overweight. But I've also got to a point in my life where I'm not going to be overly depressed about my weight. It is what it is. I'm not going to be depressed when I have a piece of cake because I want a piece of cake. I just have to, as myself, know that when I eat that piece of cake, there's a consequence that I am not going to lose weight. And so, sometimes, again, just having the knowledge, just knowing it is going to help us process through things. So if I want a piece of cake, I'm going to have a piece of cake. But I also know that I'm not probably going to lose any weight that day or that week. So, you have to just be ready to prepare. Like I said, knowledge makes a difference. So anyway, back on track here again. So yeah, just try to love yourself. If you have something that you're struggling with, whether it be your weight, I don't know. There's certain things we can't change, our eye color, we can't change our height. There's things like that we can't change. But if the part of you that you're not loving is not part of your physical being, it's part of your emotional, like I said, used to be very angry all the time. And I still do this often, is when I feel myself getting angry, I ask myself, is this really worth getting angry about? Do I want to spend the rest of my day being angry because of this? Things like that. So, for example, the guy in front of me who's driving 30 miles an hour and he's driving me crazy, I'm in that time, I'm angry with him, I'm frustrated with him, trying really hard not to beat my horn at him and stuff. But when I get to work or to the store or wherever I'm going, sometimes I just sit in the car for like 10 seconds and just say, all right, I'm here. Nothing bad happened. Nobody died. There's no reason to spend the rest of your day being angry about this. Just process it. You are angry. You're done. Leave it here. We're not dealing with angry anymore today. So you can do things like that. So just try to find something good, I guess, is basically, you know, I can, in the sense that I say, do I want to be angry all day? No, I don't want to be angry all day. But I guess you could rephrase that and say, do I still want to be happy today? Yes, I do want to be happy today. So there's another twist on it, I guess. But I really find for me, just stopping and asking myself a few questions. Do you really want this to ruin your day? Do you really want to spend all day being angry because of this guy? Because he's gone. He doesn't care. He doesn't give two shits that I'm angry. He's going to go on with his day. But why should I ruin my whole day? Because he only drives 40 miles an hour. So, anyway, all with processing feelings. And then I guess this kind of leads into number 5 is accepting the feelings, which is kind of what I was just saying, is just sit with them for a few minutes sometimes. That's more like, like what I was just talking about was more like the little emotions that come up every day. But the bigger emotions, like, if you are constantly feeling angry, if you are constantly feeling sad, those are a little bit more that you have to kind of accept and work through and process. But I've already kind of really talked about that anyway. But it is very important to, again, like I said, knowledge just makes a difference. It's very important for you to just sit and realize what it is that you're feeling. Are you feeling anxiety? Are you feeling depression? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling shame? Are you feeling like somebody hurt your feelings, said something negative about you? So, and then once you've kind of discovered what that feeling is, then from there you can go through and process how you want to deal with that. And honestly, there's people out there who are sad, and you could talk to them till the cows come home and they're still sad. And why is that? Because they want to be sad. That's the truth of it. They haven't got to a spot yet for themselves, and hopefully they will, but they haven't got to a spot yet where they're like, I don't want to be sad anymore. And then you can help them. But sometimes they're just not ready. Sometimes people just want to be angry. Like I said, back 2010, 2011, I was angry all the time. And if somebody would have come to me and told me all the stuff that I'm telling you now, I would have probably sworn at me. Probably would have flipped me off because I wasn't ready to change. I wasn't ready to let go of anger. I am now. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be frustrated. So again, when I feel those feelings kind of bubbling up and stuff, I try to sit with them. I try to process them. I try to find a way to cope with them sometimes, especially if like something reoccurring, like with the guy in the traffic. It's done, it's over, it's processed. I'm just moving on, and it's that easy, and it's done. Other things, like with my boss, it's an ongoing thing. I have to be with my boss every day. And I don't think she's going to change much. So I need to change. I need to figure out a way to process through this and to make it okay so that I'm not spending 40 hours a week just being angry because I don't want to be angry. And it's not a matter of letting her win or not win or any of that. I don't really care. I don't really care what she feels or thinks. Not to be rude, but she has no desire to change. She has no desire to be nice. And that's her choice. Until she's ready to change, there's not much I can do for her. All I can do is help me. And but I do have part responsibility in the whole situation, because 9 out of 10 times when she says something to me, I either don't say anything at all or I react angrily. And so I need to find that where I can say what I need to say to her and not be rude or mean, which is very hard sometimes, and not be yelling. So I need to find a way to speak my frustration to her in a civil way, is really, I guess, the simple way of putting it. But, so, with that, remember to be kind. Even though we want to honk our horns at the little old man who's driving 40 and going to make us late for work, try to understand that he probably is nervous about driving. He can't see well. Whatever his circumstances is, you know, I have to try to understand that and process through it. But again, it's okay to feel that feeling. Just don't hold on to it all day, okay? But just remember, try to be kind. Your kindness could change somebody else's life, but it definitely is going to change yours. And I do have to really go because I don't want to be late for work. But one of the things I do want to just kind of add in there today, it's a little challenge I've added for myself, and I'm going to put it out there for you. I often find myself, I drop something, I'm late for work, whatever, and I go in and I'm like, well, I guess today's going to suck. And it's not going to suck unless I make it that way, unless I speak it that way. So when these little things happen to us, try not to vocalize that. Try not to, it's really manifesting it in our own way. Try not to do that. If, you know, you hear people say, well, go back to bed and get up on the other side. That's really what you kind of need to do. Let it go and move on with the rest of your day. Don't let it ruin the rest of your day. Don't be like, well, today's going to suck. Because it's only going to suck if you make it suck. Or if you let it suck, I guess. So be kind. I love you. Thanks for joining. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but I will figure it out. Love you. Have a great day.